Blessed Shabbat, brothers and sisters, Hebrews in Jamaica, the Caribbeans, the West, to the four corners of the earth scattered greetings. In this Shabbat lesson, I'm going to tackle Mount Zion, brothers and sisters, Mount Zion. And when I finish going through this lesson, you'll see why I call it Mount Zion. Right, brothers and sisters? Alright. The entire area of Jerusalem is biblically referred to as the land of Moriah, as described in Genesis 22:2, when Eliakim testified, Father Abraham, he said to him, take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering, one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. We find the word Moriah once again in 2 Chronicles 3:1, telling us that Solomon began to build the temple of Yahweh in Jerusalem on Mount Moriah, where Yahweh had appeared to his father David. It was on the threshing floor of Araunah and Jebusite. The term Moriah in the Hebrew language is constructed of two words. Mori means my teacher, and Yah, the short version for Yahuwah or Yahweh. According to this view, the entire region is properly named Elohim is my teacher, and we believe that Elohim has much that he wants to teach his children as we study the region, its history and destiny of Jerusalem. One of those timeless lessons is found in Psalm 125, 1-2, 1611 KJV, which says, those who trust in Yahweh are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so Yahweh surrounds his people from this time forth and forever. Composed as one of Yasharel's Song of Ascents, this inspired psalm was sung repeatedly by ministering Levites and pilgrims ascending the steps of Elohim's temple on Temple Mount to worship him and bring their offering. Jerusalem is located roughly in the middle of a range of low mountains running north to south throughout central Israel, Yasharel, between the Mediterranean and Jordan Valley, stretching from the Jezreel Valley in the north all the way to Beersheba in south. Topographically, Jerusalem is not built on a mountain. Rather, it is built in the mountains, and in the city is in fact surrounded by 7 mountain peaks higher than itself. Yes, this ancient psalm composed by King David is actually a very accurate geographical description of the entire holy region, brothers and sisters. So at the end of this lesson, here you will see the actual location of Mount Zion narrated by Malia and Rabbi Hosha. Right, the location in the video is Tel Harad, outside the city of Harad, southern area of Yasharel, still on the continent of Africa, northeast and the surrounding regions, brothers and sisters. Right, 7 mountain peaks surrounded the ancient city of Jerusalem, which was then much smaller than modern day Jerusalem, which has greatly expanded in recent generations. These peaks are 1. Mountain Scopus, 2. Mount of Olives, 3. Mount of Corruption. Right, the reason why it was called Mountain of Corruption, let's go into 2 Kings 23:30, and the scripture is going to explain itself. Right, brothers and sisters? At the high places they were before Jerusalem which were on the right hand of the Mount of Corruption, which Solomon the king of Yasharel had built for Ashtaroth. Right, the abomination Ashtaroth, that's where you get your Easter from, worshipping the goddess Ashtaroth. Right, you go research that. That's your homework. Right, built for Ashtaroth, and Ashtaroth, the abomination of Zidonians, and for the Chemosh, the abomination of the Moabites and the And for Malcolm and the abomination of the children of Ammon did the king defile. You see, brothers and sisters, that is the reason why it's called Mount of Corruption, because on that mount, Solomon allowed, you know what I mean, the worship of false gods and goddesses, and all manner of wickedness, brothers and sisters. You see, all behind the behests of his many wives. You see that, right? All three are peaks of a ridge stretching east of the city itself. 4. Mount Opel. 5. The original Mount Zion or Sion. Moriah, today the temple. Mount 6. The Mount Zion, the new Mount Zion, where the traditional upper room is located. And 7. The peak upon which the Roman Antonia fortress was built just north of the temple. These 7 peaks surrounded the biblical city of Jerusalem from all sides. Just as Jerusalem is situated amidst the 7 mountain peaks higher than itself, the truth of the word of Elohim comes home to us through the timeless promise that as the mountains surround Jerusalem, so Yahweh surrounds his people. Take a look at the topographical map of Jerusalem area. Observe the mountains surrounding the city. Take the faith in Elohim, who promised to be as real as you, as these mountains, brothers and sisters. Right? Right, brothers and sisters? This revelation is intended to strengthen and establish our hearts in faith and confidence in Yahweh of Yashrael, in Elohim of Yashrael. Understanding the geography behind the poetry brings this revelation home. Right? Right, brothers and sisters? Right? Let's look at Jeremiah 32:44. This is a future prophecy that in the video you're going to see where the land of Benjamin is, and we're going to come back home and build up the land of Benjamin, the tabernacle of David, right? And the land of Ephraim is still barren, so we got to go back there also, brothers and sisters, right? So Jeremiah 32:44. Men shall buy fields for money and subscribe evidence and seal them and take witness in the land of Benjamin, in the places about Jerusalem, and in the city of Yehuda, and in the city of the mountains, and in the city of the valley, in the cities of the south, for I will cause their captivity to return, saith Yahweh. Right? So now, this is a future prophecy, right? So now Jeremiah don't understand is wherefore I commanded thee to buy the field. So, you know, we're breaking down Jeremiah 32:44. Now Jeremiah don't understand is wherefore I commanded thee to buy the field offered thee by Hanameel and Anathoth in the lot of Benjamin, right? That's in the land of Benjamin, lot in the land, right? It was to assure thee that thou at present the Chaldeans shall prevail against Jerusalem, and the Jews shall be carried into captivity. Right? So this is speaking to the past and present, right? And the Jews shall neither buy nor sell here at present, yet field shall here be bought again. Right? So you see that again. That means present, right? Men shall buy and sell and seal evidence in parts of Judea as they were wont to do in what former times. So before we did that in the land of Benjamin. Now that we are carried captive, we gotta go back again. You understand? They shall return again out of captivity, out of Babylon, into their own land and have commerce one with another as formerly. So eventually we're going to get back to our land, brothers and sisters. The Most High going to gather us whither we are scattered. You understand? And bring us back to our land. So we can start rebuilding and building up the tabernacle of David and Mount Sion. You understand? So without further delay, brothers and sisters, The video at the end of this Shabbat lesson, is gonna show you the physical places, right, of Benjamin and where the tabernacle of David is going to be built. Right, brothers and sisters, so Baruch Atah Yahusha, Baruch Atah Adonai. Baruch Atah Yahusha, blessed be our Yahusha, our salvation, right? Blessed be our Adonai, right? We got to get back to our Hebrew roots and Hebrew language. You understand, brothers and sisters? On that note, shalom.
This area, televised, as we was driving up here, you saw me pointing out these mountains, and this is Zion here in the side of the north. This is where we're at right now. You see, and I was talking to you about Masada. This is the area that we walked from Zion over to Jericho here, which is the area of Masada here. And you can see you can see how it's listed here. It's like a big hill here, and here you'll also see. But see, understand this now. You see here where it actually talks about Engedi. You see Engedi here, and then you'll see Shebek Zor. You see that. Now, see, the interesting thing about here is that it has the back road. It's showing you the back road from Zion to Masada. You see, and see, so only that road, and then you have Engedi. You see, so now you're in the land, and then you have Shebek Zor. So now what's happening here now, so what we're calling Imbokek is actually Engedi. Did you understand what I just said?
Yes, well, they're very, very close. I know that. Well, and that's down at the sea.
Listen to me very carefully. When you drive down there, the first thing you will see when you come in this direction, you will see Masada. Then you will see Imbokek. You see, and then you'll see Zor. But this map here is showing you that Masada, which is the fortress, which is actually Jericho, is actually linked to or connected to or right next to Eliacapitus. Now, what's the significance of Eliacapitus or Benjamin, the land of Benjamin? The significance of that, and this is where this whole deceit comes in at. And let me try to get you to understand exactly how this whole deceit started and where the deceit came in at. It says here, the Jews captured Jerusalem in 132 out of the Roman Hadrian, but the Roman Emperor Hadrian drove them out 3 years later. He tried to end, this is the key. He tried to end all Jewish hope of regaining Jerusalem. He renamed the city Eliah.
Stop moving it, Hoshua.
I didn't know you was trying to follow. He renamed the city Eliacapitus and built so he took the city, and so right now you see the first map of this area, and this area being called Eliacapitus. Now let's look at the a map here of the area where they call Jerusalem. Now this map took place here when they was calling this area Jerusalem. This map here is in 300. This is when Constantine came up. So this is a map of Jerusalem, which is the Jerusalem of the Amorites, and this is a map of Eliacapitus.
Okay.
You see, which here documents say that this was the actual name of Mount Zion. But let me continue first before we end up that here. He said, so his whole attempt, so he wanted Hadrian. He said, and he built the temple, and then said, and Hadrian even prohibited Jews from visiting or living in Jerusalem. But the city's importance and the significance of the importance did not expire. The holy writings of the Jews, and it says that, that he attempted to end all Jewish hopes of ever finding Jerusalem again by changing its name. You see, so he changed the name of the city, and then Constantine 2 years later came to Amorite Jerusalem and renamed that area Jerusalem, and they created all of these different maps centered around that being Jerusalem. But this is the actual map, you follow me, of this area. And then when you and let me show you something. And I just want to make this. I want to make this comparison. This here, and let me show you very clearly. This here is the map today. You see. Now we have, like I told you, me and my sons, we walked from here. You see, and this is what they call in Bokek. You see. So now here, and this is what they call Masada. You see right here. Mm-hmm. You see, so what's happening here, so when you look at this map here, you have Jerusalem being surrounded by mountains, and you have a road coming up out of here down to Masada, which is the same of what we have on the first map that was written in this area. You see here, and you see here. So now what happens now is that, so here we have, and so what they call Mbokek here, they actually, on this map it was called Engedi. And here you have Zor, you see. So we have 1, 2, 3 cities on this map, you see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then that back road that leads right up to Tel Aviv, which is surrounded by mountains, is right here next to the actual Mount Zion.
Well, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do an actual separate class on that so that people can see even better.
Yeah, but let me continue with this here. So now where we're at right now, we're here at this gate, and this is the fortress that we're looking at right now. This here is the first wall that you're going to see when we come out. This is the second wall, and this is the third wall that surrounded the area that we call Arad today. Mm-hmm. And this was the temple. You see, so what's happening now is this. So all of this here, Josephus had put together, the city of David. So the point I'm trying to say is that there are brothers in the land, false evil shepherds, that's trying to keep people still from coming here. And they came out with certain information. And I just want to challenge them right now, and I want to put forth this challenge. They made a statement, and I think it's a very beautiful statement. They said, and it's in the scriptures clearly, it says that there's a scripture where Abraham came to sacrifice Isaac, and there was a 3-day journey from Beersheba to the place in which Abraham came to sacrifice Isaac, which was in Mount Moriah. Now, Mount Moriah is where the temple was built. You follow me? So I challenge these brothers publicly, because I've already did it. You know what I'm saying? And I got donkeys and horses to prove it, because I went to travel from Beersheba, I would travel from Beersheba, the ancient Beersheba, and they travel from that Beersheba, and I will make it here to this section in those 3 days, where they will still not make it to the area that they call in Jerusalem in those 3 days, traveling by a horse and a donkey, or traveling by a donkey, which is what Abraham took. You see, so when you start talking about driving from here to Beersheba and how it costs just an hour or 45 minutes, but you start talking about walking from here to Beersheba, it's going to take you exactly 3 days. You see. Okay. So that's another verification. You follow me, to the brothers that's trying to just keep people from coming here or even investigating the place, because they continue to follow they continue to be the tail, not the head. They continue to believe in the maps that they read out of the Bible rather than the ancient historical maps. Okay, so if you, like you said, so at this point, I have a lot of information you see here, but these are the real simple things that we want to show you here. That when you see this here, this is supposed to be the temple. Let's talk about the temple. What you're seeing here right now is not the temple. This is Mount Zion. The ark or the chest was taken from here, or from the actual Mount Zion, to the temple that Solomon built on Mount Moriah. So what we're trying to do now, we're trying to say to the brothers or to the people to come to Mount Zion, because the scriptures in Amos said that the Most High will raise the tabernacle of David that fell, which was on Mount Zion. You see, so that's the significance of where we headed and what we're trying to do, and calling the people here to pray in order to get this curse off of us. Now, there's some brothers, again, they want to say that that's Mount Zion. You see, well, then we challenge them to walk there in 3 days from Beersheba, and then when you get there, and however many days it's going to take, and I guarantee it won't be 3, then keep the Passover and go up to the mount and keep the Passover there. You follow, and sprinkle the blood on the altar according to the law. It's not there, but here you have the altar. Here you have the sanctuary. Here you have the only artifact where it's been listed that the name of Yahweh has been found. And the scripture tells us, in conclusion, it tells us to turn unto the place where the name of Yahweh, the Most High's name, has been found. And the only place in the land of Israel that I've shown you here that name has been found is the place they call Tel Aviv.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to go and try to see a little bit of that area before we leave. Thank you so much, Rabbi.
Thank you, sister.
Okay. What are we looking at?
Okay, what we're looking at right now, Malaya, we're looking at one of these pictures that they have in the Bible maps that all these people have with actual Jerusalem. You follow me? Up to Jerusalem Day. This is the lower city here, and this is the upper city. You follow me? You can see the fort on the upper city. That's supposed to be Zion. You follow me? And you got the walls here, and this is supposed to be the eastern gate. And as you go around these walls here, and this is supposed to be the city, and this is the governor's house here. So now what's happening here, we're going to use this image here to compare with what you're looking at right here. You see, but now see that now this is the actual what you're looking at. This is what somebody drew up based upon what the Bible said and how they saw it in their mind. An artist, how he saw it in his mind, how it looked. You follow? And this is the actual here. You see? So now here you have the fort. You see? And then here you have the fort. You see? And you have the fort that's standing on. Let's bring it up a little bit closer here on my pad here. Huh? You see, we have the fort here. You see, and it's on the higher hill. You see that? Now that's supposed to be Zion. Just like we're looking at here, that's supposed to be Zion. Now here you have the curving of the walls. Right here, the walls is broken here. You see, it's been curved. It was connecting there, and it curved down and came to here. Now this here, we're going to be walking through the eastern gate right there. So you see here, this is the eastern gate here that we're going to actually be walking through. You see.
I don't know how well this is showing up, but we're doing the best we can.
Exactly. So what's happening right now is that, see, this is the eastern gate here, which we're showing it from the pad. And unfortunately, I didn't have this printed out. But the point is that, so this is all supposed to be the old city and the walls. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to walk to the walls, and we're going to point out each individual gate in comparison to what they saying here the actual Jerusalem's supposed to look like. You know, that I had nothing to do with. You see that fort there? That same fort. Now let's step outside now. That same fort is still there today. You see. And the walls you have here, let's keep walking. The walls that you have here are the actual walls. You see. Now when you go to the place they call Jerusalem, there is no wall there that goes back to the time of David and Solomon. Did you hear me? I'm sorry. There's no wall there that goes back to the time of David and Solomon. Even the Wailing Wall is the wall of Ahab, the Edomite. The Edomite. You know, that controlled the land. You follow me? These walls here are the actual walls that our forefathers built. You see? And that fort up there is the actual walls with the Kodesh HaKodashim, with the Holy of Holies in it, the tabernacle of David, that David came to conquer. You see? So now what we're going to do real quickly, so now this is a diagram here, and we took this diagram, which is the actual diagram, and we put in it, according to the scriptures, the walls of Jerusalem, with the identifying the valleys on each side, and it fit. And we use the distance. Now this is very interesting here. At 2 Kings 4 and 13, it talks about on this side here, the distance in the break of the wall from the corner wall. You see, and so when we measured that distance here, it came out the same as the same distance is broken out today. You see. So,
okay, so say that in simple terms, so that all of us that are not archaeologists will understand.
Okay. There is in the scripture in 2 Kings saying that this wall was broken here, and it's broken from this point to this point. You see, that wall that's broken there is the same distance, according to the scripture, that was broken here in 2 Kings. You see, so we're showing you from here to here. Is that most people, what they don't understand here when it comes down to the walls, is that Zion here is the actual, you see the square we saw at the top, that's the actual city of David. And the lower city, those walls basically were the walls that was connected to Zion, which was the second wall. So then you had the third walls, you see. So what's happening now is that what most people don't understand is that Zion here, when we refer to the second temple, is not the temple. It's the tabernacle of David. You see. So when we start talking about this, so there's a difference when we're talking about the temple and the tabernacle. You see, so this is the main issue that we have to understand. And when we're calling people back to Zion, we're calling people back to the tabernacle of David and not the temple of Solomon. The temple of Solomon, according to scriptures, not one stone will be left upon another. You see, but the tabernacle of David, that is the thing that we be rebuilt. And here you see a diagram here of how the Jewish people are planning on rebuilding the tabernacle of David in the form of, you can see the two meadows or the two towers that you saw there at Zion, that everybody, that you can see when you first always come up. This is the complex that we just looked at. It's a square complex. And what's going to happen is going to be extended into this form and that outer court. And here you have what is called the third temple. And it's going to be on Mount Zion. And the scripture says the Most High will reign from Zion forever.
Yes, brothers and sisters, I did a video. You can go revisit back my videos. I did videos on Moses and David tabernacle. So go back and rehash those videos. You know, Moses tabernacle and David tabernacle is two different tabernacles, brothers and sisters. So I hope you enjoy this video Shabbat lesson. You know, put things in perspective. You understand? In hopes that it may bring you closer to the Most High, because, you know, all throughout my videos I show you biblical evidence and archaeological evidence, things that you can see. Since a lot of you like physical things, so you could believe, like Thomas. Because the same thing with Thomas, you know, when the apostles were telling Thomas that the Messiah has risen, he did not want to believe until he actually see the Most High himself. That's why hence the term doubtful Thomas, because he did not believe the word of others who saw the Mashiach walking up and down after he rose on the third day, Saturday. You see, so it's my hope that all these lessons give you knowledge and understanding of the Most High Yahusha and his Holy Father Yahuwah, that they may come to their glory and his commandments. Right? Baruch Atah Adonai Baruch Atah Yahusha. Shalom.